Hello everybody! I'm so excited because this is the first Style and Science Sunday of October and I have so many great ideas planned for these videos. I'm going to be doing costumes, a lot of fun makeup looks. I'm so excited. So today we're going to get started with a fun vampire look and we're going to be talking about blood. There's a lot of important things about blood. It might not make up the majority of your body, but its function is so vital to your body. So let's get started and let's learn a lot today. I actually went ahead and I did my eyebrows. I did them as normal and you can reference my eyebrow tutorial video. The only difference is I did black instead of brown and you'll see why later. As always, I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes. So I'm gonna take this brush. It's like a blending brush, but it's a little bit thinner. Just because I want to press on the color a lot more effectively. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this. Never tried this before, so let's see how well it works. I don't want to get the brush too saturated. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the crease. So I'm just pressing on the color in the area that I need, and then I'm gonna blend it. So once I think I've gotten all the color off the brush, I'm gonna start blending. Don't wait too long though, because you don't want it to dry down since it's a matte liquid lipstick. And be careful going too close to the brow. You can always fix that, but it's better to not have to. So what I'll be doing now is taking my actual blending brush, and since it doesn't have any of the red on it, it's gonna do a lot better of a job of blending. Now, even though I picked a really nice red for this, it is starting to look a little too pink for my liking. So I'm gonna take my Morphe palette and I'm gonna take this orange. No, I'm gonna go ahead with this color right here. It's like a burnt orange. And I'm just gonna take some on my blending brush and just go over this color just to give it more of a bright red instead of a dark pink color. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of this red also. Okay, I think that's a better red shade, so I'm gonna do the same for the other side. So next I'm gonna be taking this little paint circle thing that I got. It's just at my local grocery store. It has black, a purple, and a white. So I'm gonna take the black and I'm gonna take it with this brush. This is the one that packs on the color. Just gonna take some of the black and I want to deepen my sockets. So here, right where my crease is, I'm just gonna press the black on. This is gonna create a lot of dimension. Don't worry about blending yet. We'll do that later. Okay, now that I've finished up with the black paint, I'm gonna take my palette and this black color and just go over where I have the black paint. I'm using the same brush and I'm using the same motion, just a pressing motion. I want that color to be really deep, and so I'm not gonna blend quite yet. Now I'm gonna take my blending brush and be careful in this step. I don't wanna go too high with the black color, so if anything, I'm gonna go too low with it because I can fix that a lot easier. So I'm gonna start with the lower part and just blend it and then go higher. I'm just doing very gentle motions and I'm gonna have my hand out a little further on the handle just so they're light motions. So you know how I am, I love cut creases. I think they look pretty, I guess royal would be the best word in this situation. I'm trying to go for like a royal vampire. So of course I'm gonna do a cut crease. And I've already explained how I do mine. I'm taking this concealer that's actually too light to use as concealer, and I think that's gonna work to my advantage. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it as I normally would. And let's start talking about blood now. Everyone has blood in their body, but people have different blood types compared to others, and so doctors and scientists have categorized them into different groups. Now, what does blood consist of? Well, it's a little more complicated than I can explain in a video, but let's talk about the basics. In humans, we have hemoglobin in our blood, and that has iron in it, which ends up binding to oxygen that we bring in through our lungs. It binds to the oxygen and brings it everywhere we need it in the body. So that's the essential basic process of what our blood does. In different creatures, such as insects, you have squids, different creatures in the ocean, different creatures on land, they have different chemicals within their blood, which provides a different color. The pigment changes. For example, us, we have iron in our blood, so that's what gives the red color. But then some insects, I think there's certain insects that have yellow blood, some creatures that have purple. I think that's for an octopus. It's quite interesting, and if you're interested in animals and the different blood that they have and the different properties, I'll provide a link so that you can look into it more. It's super cool. Now, one fun fact, your blood collects oxygen and runs it through your body. But what about carbon monoxide? We all know that that's a pretty dangerous chemical to be exposed to, and that if you breathe it in large amounts, you will die. Pretty grim, right? Well, that is because your blood does a great job of binding to oxygen. Great job. But it does an even better job binding to carbon monoxide. And because of the chemical properties of carbon monoxide, it actually tricks your blood into thinking it's oxygen, but the properties of it are even more binding. I believe it's 1,000,000 times more binding to your blood. So because of those properties, it makes it so dangerous to breathe in and so deadly. So let's talk about the different blood types and how scientists have categorized them. So there's 4 major blood types, and then there's also an RH factor, and that categorizes your blood further into 2 different types. So the first 4 major groups, you have A, B, O, and A and B. So what do those letters even mean? A blood type has A antigens on your red blood cells, but there's also a thing called plasma in your blood, and what's on the plasma are B antibodies. So there's a lot of technical terms here, but in A blood type, there's A antigens on your red blood cells and B antibodies in your plasma. So for B blood type, it's the opposite. You have B antigens on your red blood cells and A antibodies in your plasma. For O blood type, which, fun fact, it was actually called 0 blood type, and you can guess why, there's no antigens on your red blood cells, but there are A and B antibodies on your plasma. So it used to be called 0, but because you have A and B, they just decided to make it an O to go ahead with the letter theme. And you might have guessed it, A and B blood type, so AB blood type, is the opposite of O. It has both A and B antigens on the red blood cells and no antibodies in the plasma. If you want a better visual of what I just said, if you're more of a visual learner, follow my Instagram, Sarah Alexandra Videos, and I'm gonna have a chart that explains it a lot better visually. Now, O blood type can donate to all the other blood types. And that's because there's no antigens on the red blood cells. A blood type can donate to both A and AB blood type. And that's because you have A antigens on the red blood cells. B, you guessed it, you can donate to B and AB blood type because there's B antigens on the red blood cells. And AB can donate to AB. The whole reason that these categories are necessary is because the antigens and the antibodies on your red blood cells and in your plasma, if they're paired with something that they don't like, something that they want to expel from the body, it causes a terrible reaction because it's trying to expel something foreign. So if you introduce a blood type that isn't compatible with the blood type that's already in the body, there's going to be disastrous results and deadly results. So that's why it's important to categorize these things, so when you have a blood transfusion, you're donating blood, you can make sure not to introduce something that's foreign to the body. Now let's talk about RH factor. There's a certain protein that's either present or not present in your blood. And so if it's present, you're considered positive. If it's not present, you're considered negative. So within those 4 categories and 2 subcategories, that's how you make up the 8 major categories of blood type. You have A, positive or negative, B, positive or negative, O, positive or negative, and AB, positive or negative. The most common blood type is actually O positive. And I found out I was O positive and I was super excited. I'm like, yay, I'm rare, but no, I'm actually the most common blood type. One of the rarer ones is O negative. That's where I got the confusion. Also, O negative is the universal donor. So it can be donated to any RH factor, meaning if you're positive or negative, and it could be donated to any of the blood types, A, B, AB, or O. A positive is the second most common blood type. A negative, B positive, and B negative all make up less than 10% of the population for blood types. AB positive is the universal recipient, so you can get any blood type and you can receive that into your body without any issues. AB negative is the least common blood type with less than 1% of people having this blood type, and you can receive from any negative blood type. So you can receive from A, B, or O, or AB negative. One important thing that I'd like to say is these are the 8 major blood types, but there are so many other blood types that are less common, and so they're not put in these major groups. And it's important to know your ancestry, your ethnicity, where you come from, because there are some diseases that are more common with certain blood types or certain ethnicities. And if you donate blood, you can be helping people that are more prone to those diseases. For example, sickle cell disease, it's more commonly found in African Americans. So if you donate blood as an African American and you have that gene within your blood, but you don't actually have the disease itself, you can be helping people rid themselves of the disease or allow them to not be prone to it. So it's really important to donate blood, especially if you know there's a disease that runs rampant in your ethnicity and your race. Now I'm just taking this palette, I'm taking the white color and my glitter brush. Right now I'm just putting a matte white onto wherever I put that concealer. It's an interesting story about vampires. My dad was actually telling me that when he worked in Tanzania, we lived in Kenya, but since Tanzania is right on the border, he would work there sometimes. And I forget all the details of the story, but essentially he was talking to somebody he was working with who was from one of the tribes in that area. And that guy was saying that they have a witch within their tribe who is there in order to protect them because there's a vampire that's running rampant in the area, and they have a witch protecting them from the vampire. So definitely interesting. I don't know the validity of that, but it's definitely something to look into, and how different cultures have these different tales, or even different, I guess, types of people that are involved in their tribes. I'm in my early 20s, and I, for the first time in my life, watched all of Twilight the other day, and I'm absolutely in love. To anyone I've ever made fun of for liking Twilight, I owe you big time, because wow, I'm just in love with it. I'm actually watching it again. It's very cringy, don't get me wrong, but it's worth watching for sure. And yes, I'm Team Edward. I'm Team Robert Pattinson in general, but I'm 1000% Team Edward also. Wow. Just wow. That's all I have to say about him. Wow. So now I'm going to be taking the same glitter brush and going into my Morphe palette and taking this yellowish glitter, and I'm going to put it wherever I put the white powder. Now I'm gonna go in with this palette, and I'm gonna take this color Zen, and I will put it on the outer corners right here. And I just really feel the need to take this palette and take this really gold color and just put that right in the outer corners, like right there. So I'm gonna take this liquid liner. I'm really nervous about this part. I'm gonna go in where the cut crease is and define it. Oh gosh, my hands are shaking. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna go in with the wing liner. I guess my goal is to look like a queen that just got transformed into a vampire, and so she looks wonderful, except that she's a vampire. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do my face makeup the way I normally would, but with a different color. So I'm gonna try this white color that I got and see if I can use it as a foundation. My translucent powder, which might help because it's not completely translucent. It's pretty much like a little bit lighter of a version of my skin color. I'm gonna go in with this blender sponge and see what happens. Oh gosh, just getting everywhere. But it is helping like neutralize the color a little bit. So I'm gonna take this brush and use that to blend a little bit of the translucent powder on my face. At this point, I'm okay with the color, but I don't want any flashback when I go to take pictures, so I need to mattify my face a little more. So I'm just pressing the powder on, and then I'm gonna brush it. But I just don't want it to all fall off. Okay. So I just went ahead and did my contour with the most cool contour color that I can find. It still looks pretty warm toned, honestly, but it'll work. Now I'm gonna go in with that same color that I used for contour, which by the way is this very messy palette. Don't judge. And I'm just gonna get a little bit and start to go down my nose here. Like where the eyeshadow ended, I'm just gonna actually drag out the eyeshadow a little bit. Now I'm gonna be taking my eyeshadow blending brush and just blend this area out. And it has a little bit of that red on it still, which is exactly what I wanted. So then I'm gonna start going into here. What I'm thinking is I wanna keep this area clean, and I just want like the inner area to be dark. I'm gonna bring this liquid lipstick back and this brush back. We used it at the very beginning. And I'm gonna get some on there. A little less than what I did at the beginning because there's less area to cover now. And just go in here. I just really want the most vibrant color to be in the inner corner. So I'm gonna take this brush to pack on color and the black paint again. What I did for the top of my eye, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do it right. So I'm gonna pull down a little bit. Be careful because you don't wanna take off the foundation or whatever you use. But pull it down a little bit and go right there. So I'm gonna go back with the blending brush and just blend out this red a little bit. Now I just put on my lashes, and one thing that I wanted to add to the inner corners of my eyes, eyeliner, and I wanna go like this. It's hard to explain, but I just wanna go with the straight line like that. Oh my gosh, I'm so shaky. Just to add to that pointed look. Next, I'm gonna go in with this liquid lipstick. I got it, it's from the Kylie collection, and it's a little purplish. I'm just gonna go in with it. Now I'm gonna take this packing brush and I'm gonna go in with a black. I'm gonna take a black powder, this one right here, and just go on the outer edges. Kind of give an ombre effect. I'm gonna go in with that liquid liner and just really, really line the edges of my lips. Bella who? Edward? Guys, okay, this wig was 10 bucks, so like, it's not the best wig. Yeah, so this is the finished vampire look. I love it. I think it's super cute, and you know, you can work with it however you'd like. You can do a different eye look. You can even do different colors if you really like the blue vibe. I was just thinking red worked a little more with this royal look I got going on. So hope you guys learned a lot about blood and about makeup. Do want to bring up something. So donating blood. 50% of people in the United States are eligible to donate blood, but about only 5% do. So right now there's a big gap between those who can and those who are doing. So I would just like to promote donating blood. When you donate blood once, you can save up to 3 people with that blood. So you're making a huge impact. And you can actually donate blood every 2 months if you're eligible for that. That's the most frequent that you can be donating. So you can be really helping so many people. You could be helping 3 people every 2 months and doing your part in donating blood and helping people that need it. And in fact, because O positive blood is very, very common, there's a shortage of it because of how much it's used. So even if you have a blood type that's more common and you think it's not needed, it's needed. And of course the rare blood types are needed too, because a lot of people don't donate that type of blood. So definitely consider donating blood. Now that you know how the whole process works and what blood is, what it's comprised of, and what makes the blood groups, then maybe you'll be more prone to donating. And if you want to learn more about my experience donating blood, let me know in the comments and I'll be glad to share it with you guys. But for now, hope you guys are enjoying the first few days of Halloween, and I hope you really love this look. I have so many more fun looks to come. So keep watching and follow my Instagram, Sarah Alexandra Videos. I'm going to be posting content that I'm not going to be posting here, so you might want to get in on that. Anyway, see you guys.